I opened the drawer where I kept my mother's photo, and my stomach dropped. The space was empty. For 3 years, that drawer had held one thing: a single photograph of my mom taken the day before she entered hospice. I checked behind the drawer, underneath it, even pulled the whole thing out and looked behind the furniture. Nothing. Talia, I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. Have you seen the photo that was in this drawer? My wife walked into the bedroom, drying her hands on a dish towel. She glanced at the open drawer and shrugged. Oh, that old thing? I threw out last week during spring cleaning. It was just taking up space. The room tilted. You what? I threw it away, Marcus. Why are you making such a big deal? She tossed the towel onto the bed. It was wrinkled and faded. You have other pictures of your mother, don't you? My hands were shaking. That was the only physical photo I had left. Everything else is digital. Talia rolled her eyes. So print another one. Honestly, you're being dramatic. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Dramatic? You threw away the most important thing I own without even asking me. Talia crossed her arms. Marcus, your obsession with your dead mother isn't healthy. She's been gone for 5 years. You need to move on. Those words hit me like a punch. She wasn't just anyone. She was my mother. She wasn't some saint, Marcus. She was just a regular person who died. Everyone loses their parents eventually. Talia's voice was cold, clinical. You keep her picture in that drawer like it's some shrine. It's weird. I stared at my wife, seeing something I'd never noticed before. There was no sympathy in her eyes, no understanding. Just annoyance. I loved her, I said quietly. I know you did. But she's gone, and you're letting her memory control your life. I did you a favor. She turned to leave. Now, come help me with dinner. We're having the Pattersons over tonight, remember? I couldn't move. My mother's face, her smile, her eyes, the red earrings she wore that day, all of it was supposed to be preserved in that photograph. Now it was gone, buried somewhere in a landfill because my wife decided it was clutter. That night, after the Pattersons left, I searched the house. I was looking for other things my mother had given me: a silk scarf she'd worn, letters she'd written during my college years, a recipe card with her handwriting. They were all gone. The scarf that used to hang in our closet vanished. The letters I kept in a box on the top shelf, missing. Even a recipe card I'd tucked into our cookbook was gone. Talia, I said, walking into the living room where she was watching television. Where are my mother's letters? She didn't look away from the screen. I told you, I've been decluttering. This house was getting too crowded with old junk. Those weren't junk. Those are my memories. They were papers yellowing in a box. You never even looked at them. She finally glanced at me. You're welcome, by the way. The house feels so much cleaner now. I felt something break inside me. This wasn't accidental. This was intentional. She'd systematically removed every trace of my mother from our home. I'm going to get that photo back, I said. Talia laughed. Good luck. Trash pickup was 3 days ago. I called my best friend, Kyle, the next morning. We'd known each other since college, and he was the only person who really understood what my mother meant to me. She threw it away. Kyle's voice was tight with anger. Marcus, that's cruel. I don't know what to do. I was sitting in my car in the work parking lot, unable to go inside. That photo was everything. It was taken on the last good day, before the cancer took over, before the hospitals and the pain. She was wearing her favorite red earrings and smiling at me like nothing was wrong. The red earrings, Kyle repeated slowly. Marcus, didn't you say your mom was wearing red earrings in that photo? Yeah, why? There was a pause. I saw a magazine yesterday at the coffee shop. There was this whole feature on grief and memory, and I swear, one of the photos looked exactly like what you described. A woman in her 50s, red earrings, this really genuine smile. My heart stopped. That's impossible. I'm going back to get it. Stay on the line. Kyle came back on the phone 20 minutes later, breathing hard. Marcus, I'm looking at it right now. Page 47 of Modern Life magazine. This is your mother. Send me a picture. My hand was shaking so badly, I almost dropped my phone. The image came through. There she was, my mother's face, those red earrings catching the light. Her smile exactly as I remembered it. The photo I thought was rotting in a landfill was printed on glossy magazine paper, part of a feature article titled Faces of Loss. I zoomed in on the photo credit at the bottom. Photography by Lucien Vinter. Special thanks to Talia Brennan for the personal contribution. Talia Brennan, my wife's maiden name. She gave it to him, I whispered. She didn't throw it away. She gave my mother's photo to some photographer. Cal was quiet for a moment. Marcus, this is worse than we thought. She didn't just get rid of it. She used it. For what? Attention? Credit in a magazine. I couldn't breathe. I need to go home. Wait. Before you confront her, we need a plan. I left work early, claiming I was sick. It wasn't a lie. I felt like I might actually throw up. When I got home, Talia's car was in the driveway. Good. I wanted answers now. She was in the kitchen making lunch when I walked in. You're home early. You gave that photo to a photographer. I held up my phone, showing her the magazine page. You told me you threw it away, but you gave it to Lucien Vinter. Talia's face went pale, then red. I don't know what you're talking about. It's right here, Talia. Your name is in the credits. She grabbed a dishcloth, wiping the counter furiously. He must have found it online somewhere. I didn't give him anything. Stop lying. My voice cracked. Why would you do this? She slammed the cloth down. Fine. Yes, I gave it to him. Lucien is an artist, and he needed powerful images for his grief project. I thought it would be nice to honor your mother's memory by giving away the only physical photo I had. Without asking me, you never would have agreed. She turned away. You're too possessive of her memory. That's when I saw it. A receipt on the counter by her purse. Photo prints, 12 copies, $47.99. The date was March 18th. The same day, the photo disappeared. I didn't confront her about the receipt. Not yet. Instead, I did something I'd never done before. I went behind her back. I found Lucien Vinter's website and contact information. He was a local photographer specializing in emotional storytelling. His portfolio was filled with intimate portraits, all with deep captions about human connection and loss. I sent him an email, pretending to be a fan of his work. Your piece in Modern Life magazine really moved me, especially the photo with the red earrings. Could you tell me more about the story behind it? He responded within an hour. Thank you so much for reaching out. That photograph holds a special place in my heart. The woman in the picture was the mother of someone I know, Talia. She lost her mom very young, and sharing that image was her way of processing grief. It's one of the most honest portraits I've ever worked with. I read the email 3 times. Talia had told him my mother was her mother. She claimed my grief as her own. Lucien continued, if you're interested, I can send you the full backstory Talia gave me. It's a beautiful story about their relationship. I wrote back, I'd love to hear it. The file Lucien sent was an audio recording. I sat in my car, parked outside a grocery store, and pressed play. Talia's voice filled my ears, soft and tearful. My mother was everything to me. She was my best friend, my confidant. When she got sick, I watched her fade away piece by piece. This photo was taken on one of her last good days. She was still herself, still smiling, still wearing those earrings she loved. I wanted the world to see her the way I remember her. Beautiful, strong, gone too soon. I listened to my wife describe my mother's illness, using details I'd shared with her during our marriage. She talked about the hospice, the final weeks, the moment she said goodbye. Every word was stolen from my experience, repackaged as her own tragedy. The recording ended with Lucien's voice. Your mother would be proud of how you're honoring her memory. Talia replied, I hope so. That's why I want this photo in your exhibit. She deserves to be remembered. Exhibit. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just about a magazine feature. Lucien was planning something bigger. I called Lucien directly this time, dropping the pretense. This is Marcus Brennan. I'm Talia's husband. We need to talk about that photograph. There was a confused pause. Oh, hello. Is everything all right? That photo isn't of Talia's mother. It's my mother. Talia never met her. My mom died 2 years before we got married. Lucien was silent for a long moment. I don't understand. Talia gave me extensive background about her relationship with her mother. She even cried telling me the story. She lied to you. That's my mother in the photo, and Talia took it from me without permission. I tried to keep my voice steady. I need you to stop using that image. Marcus, I sympathize, but Talia signed a release form giving me rights to use the photo. Legally, I'm covered. She couldn't give you rights to something she didn't own. Do you have proof the photo is yours? Original files, dated documentation? I didn't. The photo had been printed years ago, and I'd never digitized it. I'll find proof. Just don't do anything with that photo yet. I am sorry, Marcus, but I've already submitted it to the National Portrait Gallery for their upcoming exhibit on American families. I called my sister, Amanda, in Ohio. She was 4 years younger than me and had been close to our mother. Amanda, I need your help. Do you have any copies of Mom's photos? Specifically the one with the red earrings? The hospice photo? Yeah, I think I scanned a bunch of Mom's pictures years ago when I was organizing her things. What? I explained everything. Talia throwing away the photo, finding it in the magazine, discovering she'd lied to the photographer. Amanda was furious. That's sick, Marcus. Who does that? Can you send me the scan? I need proof the photo existed before I married Talia. I'll look right now. I heard her moving around, opening drawers. Found a backup drive. Give me a few minutes to search the files. 20 minutes later, my phone pinged. Amanda had sent me the digital file. The metadata showed it was created 8 years ago, 3 years before I even met Talia. Marcus, Amanda said quietly, there's something else you need to know. My stomach tightened. What? Before you married Talia, I looked her up online. Just being protective, you know? I found some stuff that worried me. Amanda sent me a link to an old blog. The username was Talia B, and the post dated back 6 years before Talia and I met. The blog was filled with stories. Personal, emotional stories about loss and trauma. A dead mother, an absent father, a sister who died in a car accident. Each post was designed to pull at heartstrings, written in dramatic, tear-jerking prose. But as I read through them, I noticed something. The details kept changing. In one post, her mother died of cancer. In another, it was a heart attack. A third post mentioned a house fire. She makes this stuff up, Amanda said over the phone. I didn't tell you before the wedding because I thought maybe she was just processing things through creative writing. But Marcus, this is a pattern. I kept scrolling. Then I saw a comment from 5 years ago under a post about losing the only parent who understood me. The commenter's name was Lucian Vinter. His comment, your words paint such vivid pictures. Have you ever thought about visual storytelling? I'd love to collaborate. They've known each other for years, I said. This wasn't random. She's been working with him long before she gave him my mother's photo. I spent the next 2 hours reading every post on Talia's blog. The stories were elaborate, detailed, and completely fabricated. She wrote about a childhood I knew never happened, tragedies that never occurred, relationships with people who didn't exist. But the comment section was what really got me. Hundreds of people had responded over the years with sympathy, sharing their own stories, offering support. Talia had built an entire community around her fictional suffering. And Lucian was there through most of it, encouraging her, praising her emotional honesty, suggesting ways to turn her words into visual art. The most recent post was from 3 months ago, right around the time she took my mother's photo. The title was Finding Beauty in Grief. Sometimes the most powerful way to honor loss is to share it with the world. I'm working on a special project with a dear friend to do exactly that. Stay tuned. Dear friend, she met Lucian. I screenshot everything. Every post, every comment, every lie she'd told. Then I confronted her. Talia was in the living room when I got home, scrolling through her phone. I dropped my laptop on the coffee table in front of her, the blog post still open on the screen. Want to explain this? She looked at the screen, and something flickered across her face. Not shame, calculation. That's old. I was going through a phase of lying about dead family members. You told Lucian my mother was yours. You've been planning this with him for months, maybe years. Talia set down her phone carefully. You're twisting everything. Lucian and I are friends. We collaborate on art projects. That's all. You stole my mother's photo and used it to feed your fake grief narrative. My voice was shaking. How long have you two been involved? Involved? She laughed, but sounded forced. We're not having an affair, if that's what you're implying. Emotionally involved, then. Creatively involved. Whatever you want to call it. I pointed at the screen. He's been commenting on your blog for 5 years. You've been feeding him stories about your tragic life, building up to this. Talia stood up. You never appreciated me, Marcus. You were always so wrapped up in your mother's memory that you couldn't see your actual wife standing right in front of you. Lucian listened. He understood my creativity. Your creativity? You stole my grief. Talia's mask finally slipped. Your grief? You act like you're the only person who ever lost someone. Your mother died 5 years ago, Marcus. 5 years, and you still keep that photo in a drawer like she's going to come back. That photo was mine. It was a piece of paper collecting dust. I gave it purpose. I gave it meaning. She grabbed her phone. Lucian and I created something beautiful from it. Art. Real art that makes people feel something. You used my mother's face without permission. I needed it for the project. Lucian needed authentic emotion, and that photo had it. She looked at me defiantly. I'm not apologizing for making art. Then I'm taking legal action. I closed my laptop. I'm going to contact the magazine and the gallery. I'm going to show them proof that you had no right to give away that photo. Talia's expression hardened. You do that, and everyone will know what kind of man you are. Petty, small, unable to let go. I'll tell them how you obsessed over your mother, how you couldn't move forward, how I tried to help you heal. Help me heal by stealing from me, by giving you perspective. She was yelling now. That photo was ruining our marriage. Every time I walked past that drawer, I knew you were thinking about her instead of me. I stared at my wife and realized I didn't know her at all. The next morning, I contacted Modern Life magazine's legal department. I sent them the metadata from Amanda's scan, proving the photo existed years before Talia claimed ownership. I included timestamps, original file dates, and a written statement from my sister confirming she'd taken the photo. The legal team responded within 24 hours. They agreed to place a hold on any future publications featuring the image while they investigated the rights issue. It was a small victory, but I'd take it. Then Lucian called me. His voice was tight with anger. You're trying to destroy Talia's reputation over a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? She claimed my dead mother was hers. She was honoring a memory. You're turning this into something ugly because you're jealous. Jealous of what? Of her voice. Her ability to connect with people through art. You can't stand that she found meaning in something you were hoarding. He paused. The gallery exhibit is going forward. Talia's contribution is too important to remove over your petty claims. My petty claims? I have legal proof. Proof that you scanned a photo once. That doesn't prove ownership. It doesn't prove Talia didn't have permission to use it. His voice turned cold. Leave her alone, Marcus. Or I'll make sure everyone knows how you're harassing an artist over creative expression. I recorded the entire conversation. Near the end of our call, Lucian said something that made my blood freeze. The story Talia told me about her mother dying in a house fire was one of the most moving things I've ever heard. That level of detail, that raw emotion, you can't fake that. House fire, I said carefully. I thought she told you her mother died of cancer. There was a pause. No, she said fire. I remember because she described the smell, the smoke damage to their home. I pulled up Talia's blog on my laptop. In one post, she claimed her mother died of cancer. In another, it was a heart attack during a morning jog. A third mentioned a car accident. She'd never written about a fire. Lucian, how many different versions of this story has she told you? What are you talking about? I sent him screenshots of the blog posts, each one containing a different cause of death for her fictional mother. This doesn't make sense, he said quietly. It makes perfect sense. She tells whatever story gets the reaction she wants. She's been doing it for years. I kept my voice level. You're not collaborating with an artist. You're enabling a liar. Lucian hung up without another word.
The confrontation lasted 30 minutes. When Sophia came out, her face was red and streaked with tears. She got in my truck and just sat there, shaking. What happened? She denied everything at first. So I was being manipulated by you. That you were lying to turn me against her. So I played her the voicemail, the one she left for your mom 12 years ago. What did she say? Sophia's voice went flat. She said I was taking it out of context, that she was just venting because she was stressed. Then I showed her the forgery report, and she started crying. Said she only did it to protect me, that I'd understand when I was older. What happened next, I didn't expect. None of us did. Monica suddenly stopped crying. Her face changed, went from panic to cold in a heartbeat. And then she said something that made Sophia's entire world shift again. You want to know the truth? Fine. Ask your father about his other daughter. Sophia called me immediately. I could hear the tremor in her voice. Dad, what is she talking about? What other daughter? I went cold. What did she say exactly? She said you have another daughter. That you abandoned her too, before I was born. Is that true? I closed my eyes. This was the secret I'd buried so deep, I'd almost convinced myself it wasn't real. Her name is Claire. She was born when I was 23. Her mother was someone I dated before I met Monica. We weren't together long, maybe 6 months. When she got pregnant, she moved back to her home state. I tried to stay in touch, but she cut me off, said I was too immature to be a father. Did you fight for her? I tried, but I was young and broke and didn't know how the system worked. Her mother got married when Claire was 2. Her new husband adopted Claire. I was erased. Where's Claire now? I don't know. I haven't heard from her in over 20 years. Sophia was quiet for a long moment. I'm going to find her. It took Sophia less than 2 days to track down Claire through social media. She found her on a platform for professionals. Claire was 34 now, working as a nurse in Minnesota. Sophia sent her a direct message explaining who she was. Claire responded within an hour. They agreed to meet at a coffee shop halfway between our city and where Claire lived, a 3-hour drive for both of them. I wasn't invited to that first meeting. Sophia said Claire needed to process this without me there. I understood, even though it hurt. When Sophia came back, she looked exhausted but also somehow lighter. She's nice, Sophia said. Quiet. She's married with 2 kids. She's a pediatric nurse. Did she say anything about me? She said her mother told her you were a drug addict, that you were in and out of jail, that you signed away your rights because you didn't want to be tied down. My chest ached. None of that was true. I know. Claire knows now, too. She said her mother remarried when she was 3. Her stepdad adopted her. She always wondered about you, but her mom made it seem like you were dangerous. Monica did the same thing to both of you. Sophia shook her head. No, Claire's mother did it to her. Monica just copied the playbook. Claire agreed to talk to me. We met at a diner, neutral territory. She looked like me. Same eyes, same way of holding her shoulders when she was nervous. She ordered coffee and didn't touch it. I'm not here to forgive you, she said right away. I'm here because Sophia asked me to listen. I nodded. That's fair. My mom told me you were a mess. She said you couldn't hold down a job, that you were using drugs, that you disappeared for months at a time. I was 23 and working 2 jobs to save money for an apartment. I was broke, but I wasn't on drugs. I called your mom every week for 2 years until she changed her number. I sent letters. I sent money when I could. Then one day, I got papers saying I'd voluntarily terminated my rights. The signature looked like mine, but I never signed it. Claire's eyes widened. That's exactly what happened to you with Sophia. Monica learned from your mother. Or maybe it's just what people do when they want to erase someone. Claire pulled a box from her bag. I found these last year when my mom died. I was cleaning out her house. Inside were letters. My letters. Dozens of them, addressed to Claire at different ages. All opened, then hidden away. I spent my whole life thinking you didn't want me, Claire whispered. And you were writing to me the whole time. Claire had questions about my past, specifically about the rehab stay Monica had mentioned. I told her the same thing I told Sophia. After Monica and I divorced, I fell apart. I drank too much, couldn't function. My mother got me into treatment. I spent 60 days in rehab getting sober, and I've been clean ever since. But that was after I was born, Claire said. Mom made it sound like you were using drugs while I was a baby. I wasn't. I struggled after your mother left. I was young and scared and didn't know how to handle losing you. But I wasn't using drugs. The only substance issue I've ever had was alcohol, and that came later. Claire studied my face. Mom used to say addiction was hereditary. She'd tell me to be careful, like I might turn into you someday. Did you believe her? I don't know what I believed, but I never touched alcohol because I was so scared I'd lose control. She laughed bitterly. I built my whole life around avoiding becoming someone I never actually was. Sophia reached across the table and took Claire's hand. We both did. We both spent years believing lies about someone who was trying to find us. Over the next few weeks, Claire and Sophia discovered something that chilled us all. They started comparing notes, locations, dates, patterns. Both mothers had moved frequently. Both had changed phone numbers every few years. Both had intercepted mail and blocked contact with extended family. It's like they were following the same instructions, Sophia said one night. We were sitting in my kitchen, me, Sophia, and Claire, who'd driven down for the weekend. Claire pulled up something on her laptop. Look at this. Mom moved us 4 times in 5 years. Each time, she told people we were running from you, that you were dangerous and unstable. She built this whole narrative. Monica did the same thing, Sophia said. She told her friends, her family, the courts, everyone, that Dad was a threat. She made herself look like this brave, single mother protecting her child. How many other people do you think they told these lies to? Claire asked. The question hung in the air. Then Sophia's face changed. Oh my God, social media. She pulled out her phone and started typing. Within minutes, she found a post from Monica's friend, a woman named Andrea, who'd commented sympathetically on one of Monica's photos about staying strong for her daughter. Sophia showed it to us. The post was from 2 years ago. So proud of my friend Monica for protecting Sophia from a dangerous situation. Not all heroes wear capes. She told everyone, Sophia whispered. She made me part of her brand. Sophia made her decision that night. She was going to tell the truth publicly. Not for revenge, though I think part of her wanted that too, but because she needed people to know what Monica had done. She wrote a post on her own social media that night. I read it over her shoulder as she typed. My name is Sophia, and I need to tell you something about my mother. For 18 years, she told me my father abandoned us, that he was dangerous, unstable, didn't want me. She showed me no letters, no calls, no proof he ever tried to contact me. Last week, I found over 100 letters he'd written to me, letters my mother had intercepted and hidden. I found court documents proving he'd fought for custody. I found evidence of fraud, manipulation, and systematic erasure of my father from my life. My mother is not a hero. She's a liar, and I'm done protecting her reputation. She posted it at midnight. By morning, it had been shared 200 times. By afternoon, 1,000. Monica's friends, family, and coworkers saw it. People started commenting with their own stories. Neighbors who remembered Monica talking about her deadbeat ex. Coworkers who donated money to help her raise Sophia alone. Friends who'd supported her through the trauma of having an abusive ex. They all felt betrayed. Monica sent a letter 3 days later. It arrived in my mailbox, addressed to Sophia, in care of me. The envelope was thick, the letter inside written in Monica's careful handwriting. Sophia, I know you're angry. I know you think I'm a monster. But I need you to understand something. Everything I did to protect you. When your father and I divorced, he was not in a good place. The drinking, the instability, it was real. I was terrified he'd hurt you, or himself, or someone else. So yes, I kept his letters from you. I did it because I couldn't risk you reaching out to someone who might pull you into his chaos. I know now that maybe I went too far. Maybe I should have let you read the letters when you were older. But I was so scared, Sophia. Every time he tried to contact you, I remembered how bad things were. I remembered the nights he didn't come home, the mornings I had to call in sick to work because I was too exhausted from dealing with his problems. I made mistakes, but I made them out of love. Please forgive me. You're all I have. Mom. Sophia read it twice, then set it down. She's still lying. Even now, she's still trying to control the story. What do you want to do? I asked. I want to go to court. I want her to face consequences for what she did. We filed a lawsuit 3 weeks later. The charges included fraud, forgery, and interference with parental custody. Our lawyer, a sharp woman named Barbara who specialized in family law, said we had an excellent case. The forged signature alone is enough for criminal charges, Barbara said. The rest is just building the pattern of behavior. The case took 6 months to go to trial. During that time, more evidence came to light. Barbara discovered that Monica had been cashing checks from a trust fund my parents had set up for Sophia, money that was supposed to go to her education. Monica had claimed she was Sophia's sole guardian and therefore entitled to manage the funds. Over 16 years, she'd withdrawn nearly $85,000. She stole from me, Sophia said when Barbara showed us the bank records. Technically, she stole from your trust. But yes, in court, Monica's lawyer tried to paint her as a protective mother who'd made difficult choices. But Barbara systematically destroyed that narrative. She brought in the handwriting expert who testified about the forgery. She played the voicemail Monica had left for my mother. She showed the pattern of address changes, the intercepted letters, the false accusations of abuse. Then she called her surprise witness. The woman who took the stand was someone I'd never seen before. Her name was Jessica, and she'd been Monica's best friend in college. They'd lost touch years ago, but Jessica had seen Sophia's social media post and reached out to Barbara. Monica and I were roommates senior year, Jessica testified. She got pregnant during that time, not with Sophia, but before. She had an abortion. Afterward, she said something I never forgot. She said, "If I ever have a kid, I'm never sharing them with anyone. They'll be mine and only mine." The courtroom went silent. "Did you believe she meant that?" Barbara asked. At the time, I thought she was just upset. But years later, when I saw her posts about raising Sophia alone, about protecting her from a dangerous ex, I remembered what she'd said. It felt like she turned it into a mission. Barbara pulled out a recording device. "Ms. Fletcher, did Monica ever discuss her ex-husband with you?" "Once. This was maybe 15 years ago. We'd reconnected on social media. She called me drunk one night and laughed about how easy it was to keep Thomas away from Sophia. She said, he sends letters like clockwork. I just make sure they never reach her. It's like playing chess with someone who doesn't know they've already lost." "And you recorded this conversation?" "I did. I was worried about her, about what she was saying. I kept the recording in case something like this ever happened." The recording played for the courtroom. Monica's voice, drunk and cruel, bragging about her manipulation. The judge's face hardened. The verdict came 3 weeks later. Monica was found guilty of fraud, forgery, and custodial interference. She was ordered to repay the full amount she'd taken from Sophia's trust, plus interest, nearly $110,000. She was also sentenced to 18 months in prison, though the judge suspended 12 months, meaning she'd serve 6 if she stayed out of trouble. But the legal consequences weren't the worst part for Monica. Her reputation was destroyed. Her job fired her. Her fiancé, Victor, broke off their engagement. Her friends stopped calling. She'd built her entire identity on being the martyred single mother, and now everyone knew the truth. A year after the trial, I stood in my backyard at Sophia's graduation party. She just finished her first year of college, studying social work. She wanted to help other kids who'd been separated from their parents. Claire was there too, with her husband and 2 kids, my grandchildren, who I was finally getting to know. Sophia walked over and handed me a glass of lemonade. "You okay, Dad?" I smiled. "Yeah, I'm okay. I read all of them, you know. All your letters." "You did?" "Every single one." I stayed up for 3 nights reading them in order. I wanted to see what I'd missed. And she hugged me. "You never stopped trying. Even when it was hopeless, even when she made it impossible, you never stopped writing. You never stopped being my dad." "I couldn't," I said simply. "You're my daughter. That doesn't stop just because someone tries to erase it." Claire joined us, her kids running around the yard. "You know what's crazy?" she said. "Mom tried to make us afraid of you. She tried to turn you into this monster. But the thing she was most afraid of was that we'd find out the truth." "What truth?" Sophia asked. "That he loved us. That he never stopped fighting for us. That we were worth fighting for." Claire smiled. "She tried to erase you, Dad, but you never stopped writing. And we finally read every word.